Alright, I'm back in the kitchen. I'm making us some banana cacao coconut muffins. I'm just going to give you a little rundown on how to make them. So if you're stuck at home and you want to do some baking, you can do some healthy option baking. Now these muffins have no actual processed sugar in them. They do have bananas, which are a good source of sugar, so this is a really good little snack to have when you want a little energy boost if you've been doing a few home workouts and home yoga practices. It also has maple syrup as well. So we'll get started. We'll get our wet ingredients and place them into our mixing bowl. So I need 2 really ripe, medium-sized bananas. Now the riper the better, because they're easier to squish, one. And I think they might actually give a different taste to the finished product as well. So there's our bananas. We'll pop them in there and we're just going to squash them against the edge of the bowl using a fork. So carefully pressing them down, squishing them against the edge. Makes a bit of a squelching sound. If you've got kids at home and you want them to eat something a little bit healthier, get them in the kitchen and have them help you make these muffins. My kids are grown up now, but they used to cook with me back when I actually cooked with sugar and real flour and stuff. But anyway, they still have those skills, and yeah, they can choose to cook healthier options now. So anyway, we're mashing up the banana, just using the fork, pushing it against the edge of the bowl. Now the key here to any of your cooking, any of your baking, is to have all the ingredients laid out ready to use. So have a look at your recipe, get all the ingredients ready to roll, and make sure you don't forget to put some in. Yeah. Okay, so mix, 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 mix. Now to that there, I'm going to add our eggs. So I had 3 eggs going into this one. 3 medium-sized eggs. And if you can, wherever, it's best to have free-range eggs. One, it's kind of for the environment, kind of for the animals that have given you the eggs, but it's also, they've got a nicer taste to them as well. I've got my chooks in the backyard for most of our eggs, but sometimes we do have to buy, and when we do, we buy free-range eggs, so do that if you can. So we'll pop those eggs in there, and then also our coconut oil. So 1/4 cup of coconut oil going in there. Now I'll measure the coconut oil away from the dish. Where's my 1/4 cup gone? This in here. Here we go. 1/4 cup. So I'll just pour it a little bit away from it so that it doesn't go in and I don't get too much oil go into the mixture. Whoop. A little bit of an overflow there, that's okay. Pop that in there. That to the side. And then it's just a matter of mixing that through. Oh, the other wet ingredient is vanilla extract concentrate. Now I have been using maybe 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, normal vanilla, but with the concentrate you only need about 1/4 teaspoon. I'll pop that in there. So drizzle slowly, just adds a little extra flavour to it. Now the banana bread I've made previously, you can make it with or without the vanilla extract. So pop that in there and give that a really good mix through, just using the fork. Mix, mix, mix. You'll see the eggs break up, you'll see the banana, it all sort of mixes through beautifully. You want to mix it until there's no yolk showing. Kind of get this little frothy look to it. I don't know if you guys have made pancakes before, same sort of feel. Same sort of appearance, that's what you're looking for. Okay, so we've mixed that through. There are our wet ingredients ready to roll. Just going to pop them to the side. Now, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients first in a separate bowl and using a whisk to whisk them through. One, because I'm using coconut flour and sometimes it gets a little bit lumpy. And that's no good when you bite into your little cake and you've got a big chunk of dry flour. So I'm going to pop, 3 tablespoons of coconut flour. Now I've pre-measured here just so this video is short and sweet. I've got, I'm looking at my recipe, 1/4 cup of raw cacao powder. If you like it more chocolatey, put a little bit more. If you like it a little less, put a little less. a quarter of a teaspoon of Himalayan salt, and just a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda in this one. I'm going to mix that through using my whisk, just whisking to break up any lumps. Now in this case it's the cacao powder that can often have little extra lumps that stay in there, so you want to whisk it through so you can see that most of the lumps have vanished. Alright, mixy, mixy, mix. And as I'm mixing here I can see my maple syrup is still here on the bench. So what I was saying before about having all your ingredients out, this is a reminder that I didn't put the maple syrup in my wet ingredients. So here we go, maple syrup going in, quarter of a cup of your maple syrup. I'm human, just like you guys, alright? I have failures in the kitchen. They all get eaten, but there's still some failures. So I've got about a quarter of a cup of maple syrup, okay? I'm just going to use the fork to mix that through again. The beauty of putting the maple syrup in the measuring cup after the coconut oil has gone in is that it pours out a lot easier too. So mix that through so it's well blended. Turning the bowl around. Again, we don't need any fancy mixes here. I'm just using the fork this time. Banana cake I used a wooden spoon, which is kind of nice. But this time around, just the fork. And then to our wet ingredients, I'm going to carefully sprinkle in the dry ingredients. Ready to roll, and I need a spoon this time. I'll mix them all through with a spoon, because it's the spoon I'm going to use when I'm done to help put it into my mixing bowl. So carefully with the spoon, just folds the edges of your dry ingredients into the wet. Now this recipe, it's pretty moist. The muffins come out pretty moist. You can use big muffins if you'd like, just to make, like you're having a big chunk of cake, but more the merrier, and you really only need a small muffin just to give you that little hit. I have prepared our baking tray filled with little patty pans so that that's ready to roll. And then gentle mix around until that's all blended through. Now this is more of a batter consistency. The banana bread is a much drier mixture, but this here is like a little cake. So you can see that's gone quite liquidy there now, and there's no lumps. The lumps that you see, well, the only lumps you see are lumps of banana, and that's fine to chew into your muffin and find a nice big chunk of banana. It's actually quite nice. I'm just going to grab this dish out of the way, get my tray, and I'm just going to carefully spoon some into each muffin container until they're a little bit, there's probably about, I don't know, half a centimetre, maybe a bit less than half a centimetre away from the top. So just spooning it. I'll move this over here so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. Get that out of the way. Spooning in. I'm just going to pause this because you don't need to see me do all of that. And there we go. We're nearly done. Nearly got all of the muffin mixture in there. This time around I didn't quite make my full tray. That's okay. It's better to have more of the muffin patties out ready to go rather than get to this stage and think, oh crap, I need some more and my hands are all mucky. Where are the kids? Where's my help? You've got to do this solo, do it solo and be prepared. Alright, so pop them in there. The last couple are a little bit smaller. I'll just borrow a little bit from this one, pop it over there. They'll be the test ones. You always have a couple of test muffins before you share them with others. Alright. So they're ready to go. Ready to pop into the oven. That patty pan I did not need, so I'll place it to the side. That's ready to roll. I'll pop them into the oven. This time it's around 180 degrees and it'll be for about 15 or 20 minutes. So I just happen to be making a banana bread at the same time today. The oven for the banana bread is a little bit lower in temperature, so I'm just going to sneak somewhere in between in the middle there. Just to utilise the space in the oven. There's 3 racks. You're going to cook and the oven's on using electricity. I know I'm using it through the middle of the day and the solar's helping me right now, but even still, while you've got the oven going, these freeze up very well, so don't worry about making too many if you can't eat them all at once. Alright, I'll pop these in the oven and I'll show you when they come on out how delicious they look. Alright. Well, 15 or 20 minutes has passed and it's time to bring the muffins out of the oven, and don't they look awesome? Now, a way to tell if they're cooked or not is just to lightly press them, and when they kind of spring back, you know they're ready to go. Now I'll leave them sit in the tray for just a couple of minutes if you can wait that long. If you try and eat them straight away right now, the banana will be quite hot and it'll probably burn your mouth. I'm not saying I've done that, but just, you know, common sense applies. When you take something out of a hot oven, it's still going to be hot. So they're ready to go, and after they've been sitting in the tray for, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, it doesn't have to be precise, just to finish off and get a little bit of crusty base to them. Carefully pull them out and let them cool completely on a baking rack, an oven rack, just so that they can cool and come down to room temperature before you store them. Now these are really great for popping your kids' lunches. Right now, kids are at home, so hide them so they don't eat them all at once because they are super tasty. And they last in the freezer as well, so if you put them into a flat container, don't lay them on top of each other, stack them in flat and maybe place a piece of freezer bag over the top just to stop the freezer burn from coming in before you put the lid on to seal your container. So happy baking, everyone. They are your banana cacao coconut muffins. I'll pop the recipe up on my website. I did actually do a recording of this making these a couple of years ago with a beautiful friend, Michael Cranfield. Unfortunately, he's not with us today, but I thought in his honour I would recreate and share a little video of my own. Alright, I may have picked up a few little layout skills and talents from him, so thinking of you, Michael. Alright, so anyway, have a go at that. Nice and easy, super healthy, super tasty. Just don't eat too many of them at once. Alright.